artificial intelligence is just like cracking open industries and creating new industries, I don't think that's what's happening here in legal. But I don't know, maybe it is what's happening. Maybe let's just start with a wide angle lens. Like, what do you think the current state of affairs is in this space? I'll start with you, Kinny.
I think, well, the law is it's very traditional, right? And I think with the idea of precedent, that doesn't just it doesn't just apply to the law itself, but it also applies to the practice of law. So we are in a very traditional industry. And so when you think and you look at the disruptive technologies that are happening in other industries, it really takes a company that is thinking about the business model completely differently, right? If you think about, say, Amazon or Netflix, right? The business models in those companies, as they grow and as they scale, actually their service improves, right? Which is somewhat opposite of what happens in the legal industry, right? It's almost like if we are a service provider, if we're a law firm, and we are providing service, it's that one-to-one interaction. And as the firm grows, whether it's service provider or law firm, as the firm grows, it's almost like that service level starts dropping, right? And so what that demonstrates is that there's a fundamental difference in the business model of the new digital type of firm that leverages AI versus the traditional type of firm here, right? And so until somebody figures that out and how to create a new business model, I don't see how much change there actually could be.
Because that business model also has other things taken into account, like there's constraints on the legal, provided by the legal system. So you can't just be innovative and create based on what's available. There's definitely these kind of guardrails and these constraints within the industry that everybody has to work through. And it seems like they've been there, and it doesn't seem clear that they're gonna go away. So it seems then the goal then is to work within those constraints. We can't start from a fresh sheet of paper.
Right.
That would be awesome if we could, but that's just not really where we're at.
I think that the problem, and it's not really a problem, it's just it's an understanding, right? Legal is an industry that's based around risk. As lawyers, as people that work at law firms and technology partners, we have to understand that lawyers are trying to limit risk, whether that's in litigation or keeping private matters private, and just dealing with their clients generally. And so when your goal is to limit risk, you're going to be more concerned about the things that can go wrong rather than the things that can go right. And I actually saw something very interesting on Twitter a couple days ago where a gentleman applied for a job and they ran a background check. And the background check was an algorithm that went through all his social media accounts that were public and did a word find. So they were looking for curse words and bad words. One, the algorithm was terrible. So if he liked a post that said, hey man, you got married, that's effing awesome, it was flagged as bad. Yeah, and he actually, I think his job was he was gonna be a teacher of theology, and they flagged a comment that he made about God in an academic sense as negative because he was talking about religion in social media. And so, again, and maybe that's because I think about it from a lawyer's perspective, when you think about using AI to run background checks, I would think of that example first and think about how bad that is. Right. And I don't think we've adapted the way that Amazon and Google have. And again, another example, the Jitterbug cell phone, the one that's made for people who are older, it's bigger, it has very few apps on it. That's a company that figured out their audience. You want a cell phone, but you're not going to learn how to use an iPhone. So I'm going to make you this phone so you still have access to a cell phone and some apps and whatever these services are, but it's tailored for you. And we have a lot of really cool technology that are available and at our fingertips, but until we understand the person that we're asking to use it, I just think that we're at a standstill with it.